Cool. So we are live again. Wonderful to have Amon here today with a digital communication workshop, or Marco will explain what he wants to call it. Marco from Firma is going to conduct it, so the floor is yours.
Okay, so I just shared a link to a Miro board, a whiteboard. We will need that during our workshop, so please feel free to open it up while I'm talking, while I'm introducing myself. Yeah, hi to everyone. My name is Marco. I'm founder and managing director of the Firma. And as Maria already mentioned, I don't like it too much to call our business digital marketing, because maybe it's far more. My perspective is a bit broader on that topic. So we're basically a strategic consultancy and trying to help our customers to develop their brands, and then finally, of course, to position the companies on the market. And so at the end of the day, there is, of course, digital marketing, but we will start out with some other basic thinking about your company and your brand and what you like to tell your audience with that. So yeah, basically from the company side, we are based in Wiesbaden, quite close to Frankfurt. We have a little office in Berlin, but just a very little one. And we have quite a huge track record in working with startups together. So we're one of the founding mentors of the accelerator. But before, we already did a lot of projects for startups, and we even founded some startups on our own. So we also worked as investors and also product developers. Yes, so I can see here that Daniela, I have already seen in the first presentation, in the pitch presentation. And there's Christian, Leon was also there, I guess.
Yeah, Leon is our guy, so yeah.
Yeah.
I think Christian's team, maybe Christian tells a little bit about Amon and some words, just because, I mean, Marco was there, and maybe introduce your team member.
That would be great.
Sorry, Daniel, I think I might have bubbled.
Who wants to start?
Yes, Daniel.
Okay. So I will just introduce shortly. So Chris is our CTO. So he's together with Jules, which is another co-founder of us. He's a full stack developer, blockchain developer. So he basically built all the IT infrastructure, and he mainly works on the backend side, basically. And there's also Cindy. Cindy is mainly responsible for the part of the marketing and customer service.
Okay, that's important. Thank you, Daniel, for that, because I read in your presentation that you're well equipped with marketing expertise. So I was thinking about who of you is taking care of that.
Yeah. I also have a background in marketing. So
you do. You both. Okay.
So I also have this this background. But yeah, that's the three of us in the call.
Okay, cool, wonderful. So, okay, did you all open the board with the link I sent you? Do you all have access?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, I see your cursors. So, are you familiar with Miro, with the Miro board? Have you worked with it before?
We worked on the canvas last day.
Okay. Okay, so basically what we will need, just first of all, I will now share my screen. This gets a bit easier. Just a second.
Oh, yeah.
Zack, so you can see my screen?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, cool. So basically what we will need on the board, I prepared some canvases here as well. They just help us to organize ourselves. But what we basically will need throughout the workshop is just the sticky notes. we will type in all the information what we're talking about, and after the workshop, I can send you or I will send you the summary of everything, so you can or that nothing gets lost at the end of the day. So what I like to start with is before we talking about, as you can see here, target groups, reasoning, story, etc. pp. Most of the time when we first see those pitch decks in the initial presentation, there's always big parts what they're missing is mostly the storytelling aspect of those presentations. I looked around a bit at your website and in your presentation, of course, and you have this white paper which can be downloaded on your website, and there I have already seen that you have a lot of valuable information we can work with and find our way through. But first of all, what I like to start with is, it's the first question normally, what are your objectives for the next couple of weeks? And especially, do you like more to focus on gaining investors, or is it more the digital marketing workshop, as Maria called it, is it more for winning new customers for your platform?
Yeah, so for now, for us, it's more fundraising. We have received an important approval from a card issuer so that we can release our cards.
Yeah.
Of course, then after this, let's say right after the fundraising, we will need, of course, to focus on customer acquisition. But yeah, for now, so what we have done in the past 2 years is basically get to this point where we developed most of our wallet functionalities. We have acquired some users over the time, but now with the launch of this card and then the AI, so for us the wallet is basically in a stage where users, it's a kind of complete wallet for us, so we can really go after new users. So yeah, so for us at the moment it would be more investors and then right after customers. Okay, so let's start here on the objectives board with the investors. Can you all take some sticky notes and write down what are your specific objectives in gaining investors, from number, from time and date, from volume, from anything you can say about your objectives, and most of all, what you need therefore to convince those investors. Is it a new pitch deck? Is it an improvement on the website? Anything you can think of or you have to think of for gaining new investors? So can you, if you want to, the sticky notes, you can take it from there, but you can also duplicate those sticky notes from the board here. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as let's say that we are part of also another acceleration program. So this acceleration will finish in June, end of June. So what we want to do is basically to try to at least getting on board as much as investor we can by June. What do you think? How many new investors do you need for the next round? This is very hard to say. I mean, it really depends on the on the amounts that they might want to each investor the investment ticket. So yeah, I mean, we can put a number, but we can put up to 5. I don't know, but it really depends. I mean, it might come. It depends on. So where is your ideal investor coming from? What kind of background should he or she have? So for us, would be great if as banking background investor. Banking. We already have a bank in our cap table. Yeah. So, but as we are fintech and we are in crypto space, I would say banking investor. or crypto, crypto friendly or kind of crypto users, investor user.
So the ideal investor should already have some knowledge about crypto, and
ideally, I think it would help them, to understand, the business. We have tried a lot of times. Sorry, I can't control the dogs. It's a doghouse. So no, I was saying that crypto investor. I mean, in the past we have tried to bring on board people that are not super familiar with crypto investment, and it's always harder, because they somehow they don't understand the space, and of course, they don't want to invest in something they don't understand. So at least, have some basic knowledge, or even people that using cryptos. That this is I would say the ideal.
Okay, so it's like in the program in Wave7 right now. There's the Helaba investment part, I would say, as well. So they would be a candidate for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking for, only that I understand what kind of organization you're looking for, because your storyline will depend on whom you like to address, of course, at the end of the day, and which kind of messages you can prepare for those potential investors. No? Okay. Anything else by June 2020? I mean, this is not a very long time span, of course. So what do you need most urgently to convince those investors? What do you think?
That's something that we're really working on. Is basically, they mainly need a pitch, which we have. We can polish it, but we have a I would say a business plan deck. I think it would be preferable a longer presentation. So also this one is something that we already have, or we are a little bit polishing them with the other acceleration. I've also sent to Ram and Maria, and then some financials. So to talk about the metrics and potential growth.
So I've seen that you already have in your presentation, like some numbers about the growth of the crypto market, and the growth of potential users in crypto markets, etc. pp. I think if the investors are quite familiar with crypto and banking, of course they will look somehow critical at those numbers. I mean, these are publicly available numbers. You can, of course, describe that there is a market, and that this market is potentially growing. Of course, it's a new market. Are there some other things which are important for those investors to understand when it comes to your business and to your approach? Let's say that.
Well, I mean, this is the part of the comparator, or sorry, of the growth of the size of the market. Since crypto is quite a new market, it's not super easy even to find, I would say, recent analysis or reports, basically. So what we mentioned is basically Cambridge report, which is one of the most recent, not super. I mean, it was up to 2018. But generally, what they are more in. So if they are crypto users, they understand already that this is not anymore a niche market. But of course, if these are not crypto investors, a lot of times they ask if crypto is the only target audience. is not necessarily a crypto audience, but definitely what we can call the low hanging fruit. Definitely it's crypto users as audience.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say, yeah, they might ask about competitors, you know, to whom, I mean, with whom we compete. So yeah, there is a part of the competitors analysis.
So you're doing that actually right now?
Yeah, in the
competitor
PhD.
analysis. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Because that's one of the points I've also seen in your presentation and in the white paper, that it's I think there is even more competition to what you're providing in different fields. Of course, none of them has the combined approach what you're following, but I think in different areas you will have different competitors, of course, and you have to find good arguments in every field for an investor that you can beat the other activities somehow. Okay. Have you already identified some potential banking investors or crypto investors? Are there some more names to make it more concrete?
We are talking with some, but yeah, I wouldn't really disclose this. It's more a connection that we have with the other acceleration. We are talking with quite a lot of other investors there.
Daniel, maybe you could what is your maybe like ideal? How would the investor look like? Like if you don't want to give a name, like, you know, imagine how it would be. Maybe would that, Marco, help?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand what kind, how the perception of this investor would be on your product, on your approach, and therefore it's helpful to understand what kind of organizations is behind there. I mean, normally it's not just a private investor, but it's a company investor, means that, or an institutional investor, means that there is a buying center with a lot of more decision-taking people in that buying center. So it would be very helpful to understand what kind of group that is, or how do they take their decisions, and in what kind of a context you are presenting, or you are talking with them, so that it gets clear how much time do you have, and what kind of initiatives can you actually provide to them to convince them.
Okay, yeah, I think it's really you know, it's really widespread, you know, because I mean, it's not because we are looking for a certain type of investor means that we don't write somebody else, you know. Just, you know, of course, you know, there are some VCs we might not be we might not be in the range of their investments, or the for example, VCs that they don't invest in fintechs, you know, for example, of course, is out of the scope. But yeah, generally there are business angels association, for example, so where they tend to invest more business angels, so they create like a company to invest in the company, or as I said before, a little bit of the banking side. But it depends a little bit on what are the targets of the bank. The investor we currently have on board, they have like an innovation department where they invest in startups, and they believe that our project can grow in a way that we don't really kind of cannibalize their users, you know. So it can be, you know, a banking partner where they have an innovation department. They don't want to get involved directly with crypto, but they do understand that there's a big market out there. So, and they want to get involved somehow. So the easiest way is to invest in a startup, so that their image, you know, is differentiated by the startup. Yeah. So yeah, I would say, yeah, in this moment in time, so what we are mainly talking to are banks or business angel associations. We are not talking to a lot of other VCs for now, but it can be basically smaller VCs which are interested. So generally VCs, at least in Europe, they tend to ask you for bigger metrics, or at least revenues of I don't know, probably 40K a month for a more like Series A round, which we have some traction, but we don't have all this amount of revenues. Of course, what we are building is a much bigger project, so it's not like it's not a marketplace, for example. You know, it's a product that it takes you some years just to build the product. So there is another type of value. So if somebody else wants to start the same project, it would probably take 2 years for them to build the app and to get the approvals that we got now. Because it's a space where there is a lot of it's true that there is competition, but without competition, that it would probably mean that there is no market. But the point is that getting the approvals and getting compliant on all the regulatory side in this kind of environment is very hard. So you might need always in this kind of project a time where you develop first the project and the product, and then you go for acquisition of the market. I don't know if I've clarified a little bit, but I'm saying that you put it down some point.
Okay. I think I changed, the color here. Take it here. Okay. All right. As you mentioned right now, that the development time is longer, or have a bigger size project. That means when do you like to start winning new customers, so that your customer base is quite big enough for the next steps?
So we can potentially start marketing acquisition. So once we integrate all the part of the card, so potentially it could be in like 2 or 3 months time, basically.
So this is also write it down here. It's May, June, July, and August. Let's say that.
Yeah, potentially before, yeah, but yeah, it depends. Yeah, depends.
Okay, just the orientation. Okay. Good. What do you think? How well are you prepared by now with your presentation? And what kind of someone has a feedback here. Where's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, yeah, that's better.
Okay. What do you think? What is needed the most right now when it comes to your pitch presentation and what you're working on? What is the most important part of the pitch presentation where you say, okay, there we need big improvement?
Okay, so frankly, I've seen so many times our pitch, you know, that arrives in a point where you can't really look for improvements anymore. So and then you need somebody else to look over it. We have last year we have had a pitch. I mean, we did some improvements on the pitch based on the Firma acceleration. This year in January, we started again with the other acceleration program. and we did some other changes where we focused more on giving the message of having a wallet which is easy to use. So also to try to involve a little bit more people that don't know much about cryptos. So yeah, our focus at the moment in the pitch is mainly on a wallet which is easy to use, on the AI part, and of course on the wallet in general.
On the wallet in general, yeah.
But yeah, as we have a lot of products within our wallet, it's not easy to understand where you want to focus on. Sometimes, yeah, we get the feedback that we do a lot of stuff. The point is that this stuff is correlated. So if you're a crypto user, you might want to store your crypto or invest them with our investment product, but you also want to have a card maybe to spend euro pounds. So it's so to avoid for you to have three different wallets. What we are doing, we are putting together everything in one. So it looks like something, we are putting a lot of products, but the truth is that what the users do are all the things that we are putting in our wallet.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. That's what makes your product very attractive. That it's a one-stop shop approach, which is good, definitely. Especially as I looked at your pitch presentation, I think there are two parts which are really interesting, or which can be like USPs for your product. The one is definitely that it's an easy product. I think that is one of the most important things. You have to make the investors understand that the customers, they won't adopt crypto unless it is really easy. And you are one player in that market who makes it much more easy to deal with cryptocurrencies. That's one point. The other point is definitely the mixture between crypto money and fiat money in combination with the card. So it's easy to use it as a kind of a bank account, let's say that. And you're able to spend money, to store it, and everything else. And this is all integrated in your solution. So I think this is very important. What I don't understand really is that you're stressing AI at that part, because I wasn't able to understand or to read really what the benefits of the AI you're using are, and how it really works. So maybe for an investor, if you're addressing the topic of AI, I mean, everyone is dealing with AI nowadays, but the question is really what kind of benefit does it create for the customer, and how does it work, and what is the difference to other AI solutions? Because in the investment market, I think 90% of all solutions out there have some kind of an AI system integrated.
Yeah. This part of the AI is kind of add-on for the users. Is one of our points of also differentiation from the others, because a lot of people might always ask, what's the difference between you and this one? I mean, probably the easiest answer is just that the market is so big that more companies can survive. So in the sense that there is Revolut, but there is also Monzo, N26. There is a lot of other fintechs that are growing fast. But it's probably an answer that an investor wouldn't like. So what is for us important is also to create other differentiation points. So in my opinion, very frankly, the market is so young, and the approval of the cards are so limited. You can probably count in 3-4 companies in Europe having a card like the approval we received. That to the question of what's your difference between you and others. So my easiest and the most I would say real answer would be, it's something so new that even if we don't do a lot of differentiation to these other ones, there's still a big market out there waiting for this product.
Mm-hmm.
And every day there is more and more users, using crypto, as we say it in the market side. So for me, that's the real answer, but then, we also want to have a different differentiation point. And the AI, it is definitely one of these points where it doesn't exist, a wallet where which gives you some indications on the trends, on the volatility, makes an analysis of your portfolio. At the end of the day, the users in crypto, they use crypto as investment. Then a part of them, of course, they also want to cash and spend. So in our wallet, one of the things, for example, they can do, if you have a good amount of crypto, you can actually live off of your interest, because in our wallet you can receive passive interest, and then you'll be able also to spend them. So that's maybe one point we can also stress out. But the AI gives you some help in understanding how your risk strategy, your portfolio strategy is going, and maybe give you some indications.
Yeah, I just mean it because if you're thinking about a differentiation factorial point, it's very important that it's quite unique. Let's say that. Of course, there are other players on the market, and everyone is doing his job there. But if you're talking about AI, it means that there is a special thing which makes something happen which hasn't been there before. And I guess that other trading solutions they have, although I really don't know it, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there are solutions out on the market which are quite more sophisticated when it comes to data analysis and with AI predictions behind that. So if you're doing, of course, if your solution is doing a good job, then it's worth mentioning, no question. But I just wanted to stress at that point that it's important that you point out what kind of benefits this AI solution brings, and why in the context of your product it's very important. Not just mentioning it, but explaining it, why it is important for the whole system.
Yeah, I mean, the trading platform is something different, so users use our wallet not for trading, but mainly for the daily activities. While for trading, you might want to go there and see the best price. It's a different type of things. In an exchange, I understand you might want to have some support, but having an AI part like this in a wallet where you can use every day when you go for shopping is something that users don't have as a support at the moment. Okay,
so one point for your pitch deck, please, what you mentioned right now, please integrate it. What are the people actually are doing, your users, with that kind of functionality? Try to explain the process, and with just some pictures or something like that, so that the investor is able to understand where the benefit for the user lays. This is very important. Make it as tangible as possible. So every time if you try to explain something, try to find a real world example how it is used, and then it's easy to understand.
Okay.
And that's also one point. If you are talking about easy to use and easy to understand crypto, that's really what makes the difference in your presentation, not only talking about features, but really explaining how the new world will look like when the people use your application and your system. Okay. So that's a good point to jump to the next canvas here, the target groups. I would really like, and all the other ones from your teams, you're also highly invited to contribute somehow in typing, because otherwise I won't be able to get everything on the board. So when it comes to your users, I would suggest also for the investors pitch deck to integrate a part where you describe your user. Who is the first mover? Because the first mover users are the most important ones for you, and you have already users who can be like a beta group or something like that, but it's very important to understand for the investor who are those people who are actually using that platform, or for what kind of users can you create the most benefit. And so it's very good to understand that user in more detail. Try to make a profile of that user, persona profiles. Have you ever worked with that method or tool, persona profiles?
Yeah, in the past. Yeah, in the past.
Okay. So I will provide you afterwards. Just a second. I will provide you afterwards this presentation we have normally prepared for the startup workshops when we do it face to face. And there you can find a so-called Proto Persona, which gives you an orientation what kind of information you should collect about this persona profile. So you can use it as a template maybe, and try to think about this person. It's just, it's not so much the things you find out, but the process of thinking about your user persona is very important to make it clear, or will help you to find a description for the investor, which makes it tangible. Okay, these users we have to address first, because they are not only the first movers, but they are also the multipliers for our system in the future. So this is very important. So when we switch back to the, where am I here? Just a second, where am I? Ah, no. Hey, come on. So when it's about the user, I would like you all to take a sticky note and write your personal description of a typical person who should use your application, or who should use your product. It starts here with the description. The second exercise will be then motivation and touch points, but we start with the description. So try to integrate in this just with bullet points. Try to integrate this, give this person a name. And try to describe the life of this person. He or she will have a job, of course. She's living in a certain kind of context. She has a certain kind of environment, everything like that, which helps us to understand the world of that persona profile.
Okay, are we going to put it here in the in this target group, like segment description?
Here in profile, just take a sticky note here and write it down on one sticky note.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we write all together, right, in one sticky note?
Not in one, but every one of you can use an own sticky note, so that we can see where the differences are, how you look at your target groups.
Okay.
So we will take a little bit of time for doing that exercise, like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
You don't have to hurry, but try to find a good description. And try to be as concrete as possible. That means really not a category or something like that for instance, for the jobs, but really say what kind of job does this person has, in what kind of structure does this person work, with whom together, and everything like that. Mhm. I can already see a pattern. Your customers like traveling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things nowadays with Corona.
Yeah, now it's a problem, but it's what he can do now, but he will be able to do it later. So
yeah.
Okay. Is there any other tips, from the presentation? Because I think I don't see it.
It's not so much, if you look at here, it's more as you have written, Cindy, for instance, he's a web designer. Is he working in a big company, a big web design studio, or he's a freelance person? Does he have like more colleagues? Is able to talk to them and tell about these experiences with crypto, for instance. Then you have background facts, of course, the social, economic backgrounds, age and wealth status, etc. PP. So what does this person earn normally in a month or something like that? Then it's kind of a character description. What kind of personality is this person? Does it have special beliefs and motivations? What kind of values do they follow? Very important in that description is, of course, the environment, the context. Does this person work from home alone, like everyone is doing right now? But maybe in a normal context, it's in an office with a lot of people, and so, and what are the main tasks this person has to fulfill the day long? Yeah, and that's it so far, because to the other things we come in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Freelance designer. Okay, professional, graduated employee. But what kind of profession does this person have? And
okay, yeah, I can put something.
Yeah. Business analyst. Okay. Mm-hmm. So age 27, age 35. Cindy, you wrote also the age before. Huh? Did I miss that?
Yes, sorry. It's 29. I will
29. Yeah. So edit once again so that we don't miss it. Yeah. Wonderful. Great content. Surfing. Remote developer. Okay. Done small investments.
What I've described is mostly some people that I've been seeing in Bali or traveling around in Philippines. I meet some developers. They live abroad. They work for a corporate. They work by remote, so they mostly travel between Australia, Bali, Indonesia, and they're developers, and they just work by remote and like to go in morning to surf or to do tours around the islands. Yeah, digital nomads basically.
I take that as a headline because traveling is very important. Young people, very independent at that point of time. They have money to spend, but not too much, of course. Okay, and I see these mostly workers with screen workers. That means every job which is done by using computers is maybe relevant at that point of time. These are well-educated people, as I would say, right? So they all have studied somehow.
Yeah, sure. Okay. University. Yeah, this is mostly what I have been seeing around traveling in the last years. Especially in Bali, is full of people that work in IT. Can be marketing, can be developer, can be and a lot of office. We'll just go there for a day, or if you stay longer, you can stay there for a week or for a month. They have amazing villa with swimming pool on the beach, and it's full of people working in IT, and those are what we've been seeing around traveling in the last year.
So this is a very good information, definitely, because it shows you that the initial user of your application is someone who is very dependent on the independency of financial activities. So the people have to deal digitally with their money. That's also very important. They are the typical fintech customers, of course, or new bank customers, and they're highly familiar with digital transactions. Let's say that.
Yeah. I guess that those are also most of the users that they basically got Revolut or N26 or this fintech. If you can see in the last week, Revolut had some more crypto in their wallet. There is a closed circuit, so you can't really use the crypto because you cannot withdraw in any crypto wallet. You don't even see that you have a crypto address. You just see you compare I don't know 20 euro to 10 Ripple, but they have been added more cryptos.
I lost the sound somehow.
As a fintech, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a bit. Now I can't hear you.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the connection.
The connection is a bit bad.
Yeah, I guess. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, I guess that those are also, of course, the world is changing. We are automizing everything. Some jobs already disappear. There is new technology. So this is how it's changing our world. So of course, there are now more. I remember when I was young, and I was study things for developer website or application, and at least in my country, in my city, I didn't know anybody doing those stuff. I didn't see anybody. But then when I moved to London, I see that there were my city where everyone was there. Everyone doing my stuff. It was there. They were there, and so I guess is a reality now. This is a proper job. There is lot of position in IT. The IT company are who in the world now. See Apple, Google, Samsung, all these companies. They are the biggest ones in the world. And I've been working for a company that has 18,000 developers around the world, and that is now reality. So it's the world is changing, and are the position of future.
Yeah. Definitely, you're right. I see that the same, but the question behind it is really how fast this development will happen. And I have a feedback right now. Now it's gone. Okay, thank you. And how fast the adoption of the crypto space will happen at the end of the day, so that a lot of people, of course, will then use your application. So we come to the second part here. Can you please now write down also in some bullet points just what is the motivation to use your application for these target groups? Why do they use it? What is their benefit of that, and what do they think about that? And maybe what are their needs behind using your application?
All right.
Daniele, for every bullet point you write down here, can you also, I again have a feedback, sorry. Can you write down why that's important for them, like investing in crypto? What do you see? What do they see behind that? Not only the activity itself, but the reason why they're doing it would be very helpful at that point.
Okay, yeah.
Marco, do you prefer in bullet points, or it's okay like what I just wrote?
Fast payment is wonderful because it implies that the normal payment solutions are not fast enough for them, and they're looking for a solution that helps them to do their financial stuff a bit quicker.
Okay.
Yeah. Online support means what exactly? This is Christian, I guess, right?
Yes, it is me. Online support means, I mean, I had a lot of trouble with Barclays. I was in Thailand. My card was locked down after I took some money from the ATM. And it was I spent £80 to call Barclays from Thailand to unlock my card, to go to the. I had to do all the process, the verification online. They ask you a lot of questions, and it's very expensive to call this phone number from outside the country. So I guess no one want. I mean, nobody want to spend £80 to unlock my account. You know, you block my card. So now I need to call you. I need to spend £80 to unlock my card. Is not great. You know, I don't really like
not
it.
Really. That's pain.
Imagine imagine how traveling and they may get issue with the card. They have a contact by phone, the banks. You know, if you have an app process where I can do everything with my application, I can block the card, I can freeze the card. I want to change the limit. You know, I want to authorize a transaction. I don't need to call nobody, or if I can just chat with somebody, I will not pay anything. You know, it's free.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I guess this is important.
Yeah.
And another thing about fast payment is that with cryptocurrency, if I pay you now, you get the money now. You don't need to wait 3 days, 1 days, or you know, or the bank like that.
Yeah.
This is something that is a must. You know, you now, and I want you get now. Why you need to wait 3 days? There is no sense.
Well, last time that I tried to talk on the chat with the Barclays, I was in the number 122, and then the queue.
Oh,
great customers. Barclays is the top of the customer
wonderful.
service.
Good
Oh,
bank.
you pay €100 or you have to wait 200 people.
Wonderful.
Unbelievable.
Incredible. All right. So you're all done so far?
Yes, more or less, yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay, as you can see here, a story is generated somehow. You can say, okay, this is Ben from London. He's 29 years old and he's sitting on Bali and trying to figure out how to store his money and having more control over it, etc. PP, blah blah blah. So it's very easy if you have a concrete person in mind to tell a story, and with telling that story, also showing what kind of benefits this person has by your features you're providing in your application. So the third thing we should discuss is where do we meet this person in real life or online, meaning what kind of touch points do we have in common with that person. So maybe you also write down, and please make it as concrete as possible. If you mention some platforms, channels, and yeah, other formats, let's say that, then please write down the name of them if they're highly important for those people. Like social platforms, you can mention them by name. Or special magazines or crypto platforms where all the people meet. I mean, there are several platforms where the people in the crypto space regularly meet and exchange.
We can write in the same card, or I need to create another one? Yeah.
If you like to, maybe it's faster if you take individual cards for everyone. Doesn't matter if it doubles. It's just for us to get it documented.
So sorry, it's mainly where they can find us, basically, right?
Not where they can find you, but it's where they actually perceive their information from, and where can you meet them if you like to address them. All the channels, media platforms where you can meet your target groups. And Cindy, it would be super helpful if you make it more concrete, like crypto events. There may some special events which are worth mentioning if you have the concrete names for that. If not, it's also okay. But
Okay.
if you have it more concrete, then please write it down. And also social media is too abstract. We have to write down which channels are the most important. No? I mean, if I see that they're mostly under 30, for instance, maybe Facebook isn't so relevant anymore. Maybe, I don't know. You have maybe analyzed your target group a bit better than me. As far as I can see, when it comes to the international focus, you first focus on Europe and UK, as I understood, right? And therefore, do you have like a list of those IT conferences and important hackathons, like in Slush conference in Finland, in Helsinki, or something like that? Do you already have that, or are you preparing such an overview?
I mostly go to, I mean, we all of us mostly go to conference events, of course, crypto events or IT events. I personally also go to hackathon. To the hackathon, I guess those are the best events. There is people coming around all the world. There are topics where basically we have to work on. Make an example. Was one of the biggest hackathon in London from EOS. EOS is a crypto company. They have their own blockchain, which may support. They basically estimated Visa transaction are 96 million per second. there are 96 million percent of Visa transactions. They have those blockchain, this blockchain support all the Visa transaction, which you can do with the Bitcoin blockchain or Ethereum blockchain. And the hackathon, there were some topics, so that you basically had to build some idea or an application built is decentralized, where basically there is no control, there is no tilt-apart company that will make any profit. Is just user and blockchain. The blockchain guaranteed the transaction, the privacy, all this stuff. There were topic about the privacy, and where basically, because what does now the companies is a mechanism of Google. Google, if you want to find anything, you have to go to Google, and Google make a profit advertising those company. And with in this topic where how we can avoid to have a tilt-apart company making profit for something that people look, how to connect people directly without have third-party company. And there were a lot of projects in this blockchain where you can find what you're looking for. I don't know, you want to sell the car, why I have to go to website that are third party that then will have to meet me with someone that want to buy my car. I can just write in some application. I looking for, I don't know, Mercedes, and I will find directly the people that sell this Mercedes in my city. Or the same for an house, the same for the events. You find a lot of nice people, because let's call it smart people. That they have ideas. They are committed to improve our world. I really like the atmosphere there. I think it's an amazing event. I believe everybody should participate, even just to see how those events look like.
Yeah, I mean, events is a great place to meet people, of course, and also to gain new customers there, because if you're able to talk to someone on a one-on-one basis, it's more probable to, or more likely to really convince this person, and yeah, from a personal emotional point of view, it's easier to convince someone in a one-on-one talk. Or if you're listening to some talks and lessons, or participate in workshops on those conferences, it's very easy to talk about your topics there, and to make them present and tangible, of course. But it means, on the other hand side, that you have to spend a lot of time, of course, on those events to meet those people. And of course, you have a limited time and resources budget. And so you have to see how big the impact of those events will be for your marketing activities at the end of the day. But they're still a great way to meet the right people, because they are there, and they are the first adopters of the crypto currencies and blockchain, of course. And so they are highly likely to also can or be converted as customers. So the other part is of I'm sorry, Christian.
Yeah, sorry. I just will say something, because when we do marketing, we have to target, of course, the right user that may become a potential user. I guess in those events, all of them is really a potential user. Maybe there you can have a high rate of a conversion. If you spend, I don't know, €1,000 in Google, you may have 3%, 2% conversion. But maybe if you spend €1,000 in an hackathon, you may have 70% conversion. You know, I think it's.
I totally agree with that. I'm totally with you. I think for that special kind of target group, those events and hackathons are most important for your also your marketing activities, and you should show a presence there definitely. If it's possible to go there, it depends where those events are, of course, and whether you have time or not to join it.
Sure.
Okay, so let's come to the next point, the reasoning. So I think we have a good picture of our target group right now. It's you can use, as I mentioned already, the template to fill it out in more detail and try really to take this exercise to really go deep into the world of those target groups and really highly understand them. I mean, yourself somehow a part of this target group, so it's also fair enough to take the own assumptions and write them down for the persona, but it's really helpful for the investors as well to show this is our target group, this is how they behave, this is how they perceive the world somehow, how they tick. And also for the marketing activities, it helps you to really talk in the same language, of course, but also have to prepare the right contents and meet those people at the right places, as we just elaborated a bit. So, but there's always, of course, the potential is very huge, and there's always some barriers for the people which prevent them to use your application or to use your service. So please write down on the left-hand side here on the reasoning chart, what could be potential barriers and hurdles which prevent the people from using your software. And additionally, what are their habits which prevent them to use your software? Or are there some anxieties or some fears which will that they stay away from your software? So please write down on individual sticky notes, please, your ideas to that. What is a KYC process? I'm sorry.
Know your customer.
Know your customer. Okay, please don't use abbreviations. It will be easier for me then. Why is know your customer process a barrier?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, I was on. No, yeah, because it's a quite. I mean, it's not a lengthy process, you know, but it's kind of for us, it's a kind of churn rate. So not everyone that. So if you download the app, the first thing you have to do is to pass the KYC. Because we need to understand who you are and if you're going to transfer funds within the wallet.
Okay. The registration process, you mean, for the customer?
Correct.
Okay. So.
Yeah, Marco, it's no KYC. Everybody else knows it in the industry.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I don't know it. I'm sorry.
We had yesterday an issue also last week that somebody was talking about fiat money. And like,
fiat money. Okay, yeah. Fiat I do know.
Okay, good. Yeah, so you learned. Cool.
Fear to be controlled. Okay, scare of cryptocurrencies. Yeah. I found an article on your blog, the top 10 barriers in crypto adoption. I think this one is a very important one, and it provides you a lot of ideas for content, which will be very valuable to people if you answer those questions or those barriers and make the people feel safe with crypto in general. So I think it's also part of your task somehow that you should explain crypto a bit more and to give it more trust among those target groups. I mean, those target groups you mentioned earlier, or which we were working on right now, is they don't fear crypto that much because they're actually using it maybe, and they like the system behind it, and they are first movers in that space, of course. So you don't have to explain anything to them, but if you're getting broader and broader with your audiences, it will be very necessary to create trust among those target groups. Scams is very important, which can hinder them because nobody knows all the companies which are out there and which are serious companies or not. Regulations, yeah, will come up definitely. Security is very important. So if they already have a bank account, what do you think will prevent them to switching to your application? Is there a reason behind that? Maybe it's just because they're what's that, foul? Lazy, that they're lazy to switch, that there's not enough benefit to switch really to another account or something like that. So UX and usability is of course a point where yeah, you have it in your hands, I would say that, to make the application as simple as possible, of course, to have a good UX, and the better you know your user, the easier the UX will be, of course. So, okay, you're already writing down benefits and advantages. That's good, but you think we're really done with the barriers and hurdles?
I guess if we think more, yeah, we can find some other point.
Okay. Can you explain me what not a physical place? What was meant with that?
Yeah, no, it's me. Yeah, I mean, not a physical place is all around, you know, the fact that you don't have a physical place where you can go and complain, you know, to somebody.
Okay.
You know, bank.
Okay. Like a store or even yeah, an office or something something like that. Yeah. Okay, so this also reflects to your experience you made with Barclays then. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. Also, if you think these are all barriers and hurdles, I would say think again about that, because there must be more, I guess. So, okay, when it comes to the benefits and advantages, this is the other side of the medal, of course. What can you do to really create an advantage which reflects the needs and desires of those target groups. What do they really want? We have already written down the motivation a bit, so you can look at that back and say what kind of benefits and advantages do you offer for them, so that they really see, or they really help with their activities. So a question from my side, once again, earn passive interest. Are you the only platform which can provide that, or are there other platforms which do the same?
At the moment, we have only one competitors that have similar, not actually the same, similar where you have some interest. And there are others, there are I think other two, but it's just a place where you store your crypto and you have interest. You can't you can't use your money. There is no possibility to pay someone, or it's not a wallet, you know, like a bank. It's just an investment.
Okay. So this is also one part.
And that's it.
This is also one part.
Another thing.
Sorry.
That some. Sorry. Another important thing is some competitors they ask user to block the money for a certain period. You know, it can be 3 months or 6 months. In our application, there is no block to. I mean, I'm totally free. Today I want to invest. Tomorrow I need the money. I get all the money back, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Can you write it down as well, because this is also a benefit, of course.
Okay.
When you look at all those benefits from a customer perspective, it's getting more and more clear to me that the simplicity of your solution is one of the key elements, because in combination, or by combining those different features, it makes a lot of processes for the user a lot easier. So I would in the presentation, I would focus on that, really try to paint the picture from that side, that, as you can see here on that board, is that for every fear or for every barrier, there's a solution you can provide. And I think a lot of those arguments pay into simplicity of your software solution. So your storyline in that presentation should really be about simplicity of behaving, and that can be easily described by letting someone play through a storyline. I mean, a persona profile, a typical user of your application. So it gets very clear what kind of activities lead to simplicity. Not only talk about the features, but talk about the simplicity they bring to the user. Okay, you get a cashback. You get a cashback for what?
Oh, a cashback when you use the card, or when you make an exchange, or you get a yes.
If you're a registered user, right? That's only for the registered users. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Spent earned interest. Invest at any time. Yeah, I think once again, also having fiat and crypto in one place is a very important argument, which also leads to simplicity somehow, because exchange of currencies is very important, I think, and will stay very important for the next couple of years. Okay. Easy registration is good. Yeah. Okay. I think that looks good somehow. Or do you like to add something? No? Ah, no.
Okay, for now.
Once again, a question from my side. As far as I have seen, you only are able to right now. The user is only. I have a feedback once again. Thank you. You're only able to exchange 2 cryptocurrencies right now, right?
No,
No?
we have 8 cryptos. We have 8 cryptocurrencies and
8.
euro. Yeah, 8 euro and then pounds. We are adding pounds.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a note. I just want to add a note. There are still some banks that when you want to exchange between 2 currency, like a pound, euro, dollar, you may need 3 days to get
3 days.
your
Ah.
yeah. If you use bank Barclays, so in Barclays you need to wait some hours.
Okay.
Some banks that you need to wait. I don't know if I can say the name. We are live or. So they're like NKB. If you exchange, you may need to wait 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
This is not
Incredible.
great for users.
That's old school banking.
Hey, you don't even know how much you're gonna get it. You exchange now, but you need to wait when they exchange, and there is the value date, you know. Yeah, so you don't even know how much you're gonna get it. You will see later.
That's a bad thing, definitely. All right. Okay. So, as I already mentioned, we're coming right now. We're coming to the feedback again. Please stop that. Who's that?
Just put on mute, Chris. I think your mic is broken or something.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're coming to the last part of our workshop to think about more the overall storyline. What we have seen right now is that we can easily tell a story about a user if we know that user and know the needs and desires and of course the fears and barriers they have to overcome. And this is very helpful for people to understand where the benefits of your solutions really are and how you're trying to make it simple as possible. But you as a company as well, you have some kind of a purpose, some kind of a call in a bigger context of the world, which makes it even more important that you exist and you're giving something to the world which is not existing today or already is not existing, let's say that. So when it comes to the story, a story line for your company is more your brand story. What we are now working on in the last part is it's divided up into 3 parts. One part is the description of the future, means the activities you do will lead to a new future. This future looks different than today. So this is one part that you're able to describe how the new future will look like. I think as all of the Wave7 startups right now, you're dealing with a future with a lot of transparency and the blockchain story underlines, of course, your future vision. The second thing is your purpose, your why, your call, why you are doing that. And I think it's very important that you tell this story since you were founded and because you switched the focus initially you told that you maybe had another focus when you started, but it developed somehow differently, and now you're doing the things the way you do. And this also relates to your purpose. Your purpose right now is maybe one or two of your biggest benefits you can provide. This is what you bring to the world. You're making it easier, of course, to deal with crypto and to connect the existing fiat world to the crypto world. And the third part of your storyline is that, yeah, maybe you have like examples where actually someone did something very differently than he used to do something. So if you can figure out real examples, real experiences in your customer base, where the people are really convinced by your solution, where the people this solution, so write those stories down and use them as not only testimonials, yeah, I'm convinced this is a great piece of software or something like that, but really tell their story. What has happened exactly that made them really convinced somehow? So I would like to start again with a little exercise with that vision you have of the future. So it's not the vision what your company is doing in the future, it's the vision how the future will look like in, let's say, 10 years or so. So it's always good to have a vision which is a bit more in a far distance in the future than too narrow. Okay. So yeah.
I start to put some. I put here the stick so we can write.
Yeah.
I guess there are some changes that are happening right now. We don't see it yet, but if you go to Los Angeles, where are all there are like San Francisco is a expensive city where mostly live people that work in Google, Uber, Facebook, all these companies. Uber is working a project where in the future there is no anymore the taxi that will come to pick you up, but there is the drone will come to take you up and move you somewhere. It's a project they're working on. There is Amazon. They built the new pass your items and pay. Every time you take some item from the place that you put in your bag is added directly to your basket. And when you go out, you just walk out. You don't need to stop. You don't need to pass your item. You just walk out of the shop, and they bill your account. You know, there are already some stuff. They are already there. They are testing before to scale globally. And those are things that in the next 10 years they will change the world globally.
Okay. Yeah, I know that example of Amazon Go. It's a great one to describe how technology will even more, or technology and digitalization will take even more a big part of our life. But as I started writing down here some bullet points how the future will look like, so please join me and do the same. What kind of examples you have, or what will be important in the future to know about that future, what we're working on. Yeah, that's a bold statement. That's good. Banks will lose 50% of their retail clients. Okay, from now on, in 10 years, how big do you see the relevance of cryptocurrencies? Will there be like, I don't know, as many cryptocurrencies as we have fiat money nowadays? Or will there just be, let's say, up to 5 currencies which made the race? And how big will be the distribution of those currencies? How many people will use actually cryptocurrencies? Will cryptocurrency really replace the financial system we have right now? Yeah, decentralization is a very important aspect. See that as the same. Privacy is mentioned often, but on the other hand side, as you also know, there will be also fraud and criminal activities. So, as investment, is that okay? Will people spend more crypto money than the normal currency like today?
Well, I mean, here we could open a big, topic. But yeah, definitely as long as cryptos are very volatile, it will be very hard for users to actually spend them in a daily life. So it's more likely that stable coins can take over. Like in a stable coin at the moment in our wallet, you can earn around about between 10 and 12% yearly as interest. While if you have euro, you earn nothing. So yeah, you're basically losing instead money. So you might want to just convert it to stable coin and earn interest. So it's more likely that the stable coins might, I don't want to say replace traditional currencies because this is a big step, but at least it would be a big part of the of the crypto adoption, the stable coins. So you just convert to stable coin, you receive more interest, and you can spend with the stable coin.
Smart contracts, yeah, also very important when it comes to blockchain. Okay, anything to add to the vision? I see Daniela is already working on the purpose. No? Okay. So yeah, why not? Let's work on your purpose. So thinking of today, what is the what are you bringing to this new future? What is your contribution to that new future? and why is it important that you as a company will grow and survive this? So maybe also we work with some, you don't have to write sentences, but some bullet points will be helpful then. Mm-hmm. A 24-hour service, 24-hour services means that usually with banks, I'm not able to do 24 hours my transactions on a real-time basis or something like that, I guess, right?
I guess in the banks there is still some process where you have to go there. You can do, I mean, some let's call tech banks is moving forward to provide everything 24 hours. But let's say that there is still banks that have internal process where you user have to go there, and you can do everything 24 hours. I mean, if I want to do something at 10 p.m., I can do it. I have to wait the day after, go there, and solve my issue. That's what I mean with 24-hour services. I mean, should be normal that everything should be done anytime we want, but still not like this everywhere or with the company.
So as far as I can see here right now, oh sorry, no, didn't anyone wanted to share something? No. Okay, as far as I can see here, that it's not, or your purpose is not helping crypto succeed somehow as a new alternative for currencies and for financial transactions. For instance, what you are doing is, as I understand it here, is to make any kind of financial transaction more easier and really to combine it to find a place where everything can happen together. Is that somehow right, or is there something missing?
Yeah,
that perspective.
We don't really think that crypto they should stand on their own. If you want to really foster the adoption, you need to merge them with the fiat traditional currencies.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be a bit inappropriate now to just think that people should spend crypto, because it's not what they do with users.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't say that crypto will take over fiat. I don't even think that this will ever happen.
Yeah.
But it's the integration of the two that makes things different. There are people that they want to use crypto. They want to have faster payments with crypto. They can have it. They want to have better fees. So, and it's the integration between the two that makes the things different.
Yeah. So that's the point where you should start your story, because that's really differentiating. If you tell your story, not like any other blockchain and crypto startup, you shouldn't say we're here to revolutionize the world by crypto, but you say we have analyzed, we are like crypto natives, and we have a lot of experience in the crypto field, and we can say that the only way to make the transition towards crypto will be combining all those different systems into one place, so and making it easy to access the people this kind of whole system at the end of the day. I think this is really the core part of your storyline, and that's the differentiation to a lot of other startups in the crypto space, where they want, of course, be crypto as the one-fits-all solution, which it isn't right now, and will take also some time to get more attractive for a lot of people. But that's a great, I think this is a great message you can tell your investors as well as your customers, so they can gain a bit more trust in you, because you realize that there is the connection of all those elements, and that's the core part to get everything connected. So you should find some visuals, some kind of tangible images to make them understand that the connection of services is the most important thing if a new startup will enter that club, or enter that stage, and work with crypto and fiat money, and making it for the user much more easier to jump on that train. So maybe you keep that in mind for the new pitch deck, where to start your introduction, what your company is all about. And I see a real value inside that. Sorry.
I also want to. I also want to say something about in general about the digital money. You know, I guess in the next year, I'm not sure if it's gonna be in the 5, in the 10 years, but the government will for sure will start to change our financial system. As now they print money, may happen that in the next 10 years they may create a government blockchain, and they can start to move the financial system to a blockchain, maybe even a new blockchain. You know, the government can create its own blockchain, create its own system, and as we were basically already in this space, may also be for us more easy to adapt to the new system, which may be more difficult for our banks, which they are very slow, and we have experience in this, and we see that mostly big companies are slow, have a lot of processing, and when they have to move from one side to another side, they may take years, while startups may just focus on that and may be much faster than a big corporate and a big company that has a lot of employees and is need to also. And another thing, I guess, is because they are everywhere, they have a lot of employees, and they are really present on the territory. You know, they have a place everywhere in the city. Also, for them, it's slow to really they employ the change before to apply. You need to explain to all your employee how gonna change, how will be now the new process, how they have to work now. You know, while when you have not too much employee and everything is automatically, everything is live, you basically don't need to train your employee. You know, it will be automatically applied to the business. And I guess for a company they keep this asset even in the future when it may grow, I think it's very important, because if you become like the others, you become slow, full of processing, a lot of costs. And I guess this is important for a business to stay light, let's say like this. No, and try to automate everything. Yeah, everything need to be honest. So there will be change some process that will be affected by the changes. If they are, let's say, motivated, or if they are part of these changes, for them it will be fine to use the new services. And if you have employees, instead, before to apply those changes, you have to train them how gonna work now the new system. And a lot of time they have an issue also on this, no, because some client may complain about something and the employee is not prepared for this case and doesn't know how to answer. And those are cases that happen in the banks, especially on the company.
Yeah, true. Very good. Okay. Yeah, I think as I already mentioned, this is a is very important to tell your story from that perspective, and also give it, like you right now mentioned, give it some backgrounds, how the future will develop, and what happens, and what is important to the user. It's much more important somehow to understand the context than to really talk only about features which will be there in your application. It's much more, what does it do with us as a human being in the future, and why does this, or will this happen? Let's say that this is a really a big important part of your story you should tell. So finally, yeah, maybe it's just 5 minutes left. Maybe you can do this exercise also on your own. As I already mentioned, it would be nice if you surely have some friends which use your platform and your applications, and they experience maybe some kind of wow effects, and they had a good time while using it. And like you told before, Christian, this was a perfect story. Maybe we should write this here as an indication what kind of stories we're looking for. Experience with Barclays. Yeah. Just to make a note of that, these kind of stories are very important, where something happened in a bad way, and maybe you provided a solution, or had a solution which is doing it better. So we don't have to do it right now, but think of those stories. And at the end of the day, what we've done today is to find a new way to tell your story on 3 different levels. The first level is your company level, where is your purpose? Where do you start your storyline from? That means, as we said, the combination of fiat and crypto is a very important thing which you can bring to the world, because it helps to generate a different kind of future. So you can elaborate a bit more on that, how the future will look like. Then you have the second level. The second level tells the story from a customer's perspective. You have a concrete personality, a concrete character, which is described how this person is behaving while using your application, and what kind of features lead to what kind of benefits for the activities of the user. And at the end of the day, you take on level 3 the proof of concept that it already happened, that the users had a great experience with your application, and there are other experiences to come to follow up while you develop your application further. So if you take these 3 parts basically, and generate a new storyline out of it, I think the investors pitch deck will really benefit from this new kind of approach, because it's much less purely features, but it tells us how you will change the world and how you will change the world to the better for your users and for the world itself, or for the communities itself. And so the investors can instantly see, okay, does this have a big relevance? Is it worth investing in that business? Do those people really know how to influence the future and make a brighter future, let's say that, out of it? The rest is, of course, comparing that kind of activities you are doing to your competitors. At what point do you succeed more than your competitors in creating those benefits for their audiences, for their target groups? Yeah, and then I think you will have a good time in dialogue, because what your pitch deck should do, or should lead to, is opening up conversations. That's all. And for conversations, you need definitely some interesting stories, because stories are the only things which help to get a connection to your contents you have, or to the thoughts you have. And when you open up this world by telling new stories, the investors will be more interested than in pure facts and figures. At the end of the day, okay, it's of course you, the team, and it's of course the expectations one can have while investing in your business, and how the numbers will develop over time. But first of all, it's the interest the people have in your stories, which will make it more understandable for the investors, why you should be the right ones. So it's 4 o'clock. I thank you for your great contribution, and I would appreciate some kind of a feedback. What you think, was it some kind of helpful for your next activities? And as I mentioned, I will share the boards here, and also the presentation, so you can go into detail after our workshop. But do you think you have a kind of a clue what to do with that, what we've done today?
Yeah, on my side, yeah, it was a good activity. I think I take 3 or 4 takeaways overall. Maybe more if I read through again everything. But yeah, I would say in general it was helpful. We have worked a few times on the pitch, but there's always things that you can always improve on the pitch. Basically, we worked with different accelerator, but with each of them we discover new things and new thoughts and new things that we can improve. So we're always happy to update it. And I think yeah, I have an idea now of 2 or 3 points that you mentioned where we can improve. Yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for my side as well, was very useful. It opened a bit my mind, to think about how are my competitors, who is this, who gonna be my client, how gonna leave this user, how gonna use our app. I think that is, for me, that I work on the development and always focusing on how can I make it better, how can I make it easy. I always fight the designer to make us as much easier as possible, and I guess this exercise helped me a bit on this side. Was great.
Thanks. Cool.
Yeah, same here. I think the same. The exercise was very good for us, and it's good to have different point of view, because it helps us also to understand users and the world out of our eyes. So it was very good.
Thanks. Cool.
Wonderful. So thank you very much, Marco. I think it. Oh, you still have some feedback? Okay, no. So thank you very much, Marco. I think it was very useful, as always. And yeah, so let's hope that this helps, and I think it will help Amon to clarify a little bit, the pitch that they're doing for the investors, and to have a great story, as like you said, without the story, it's a bit boring. So as long as we can tell a compelling story and intrigue people to believe in what we believe in, and then you can find the right kind of investors for you guys.
Yeah.
So, and once when you improve your deck, you can send it to Marco. He is happy to give you some feedback on that. So, so I think it was a great exercise. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you too.
So so we will continue next week, tomorrow, 12 o'clock for those who are watching us live. And tomorrow a new day. Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guys.
Bye.
Good time.
Bye-bye.